Oh my God, Maddy, we are really doing this.
I cannot believe it.
Okay, so my name is Jeremy.
My name is Madeline.
Okay, and we are your podcasters. Is
Hosts.
the word?
We are hosts.
For our podcast called
The Imperfect Rainbow.
The Imperfect Rainbow. That's
That's
right.
right.
Yes. So that's the name of our podcast. And there's a story behind it. There's a story behind it.
Why do we call ourselves this? What is the inspiration behind this name, The Imperfect Rainbow?
Okay, Maddy, if you remember, there was one time we were having one of our, after... Oh, by the way, we are colleagues at work. Right?
Yes.
And we'll
That's
talk about...
just a by the way, really.
That's just by the
indeed.
way, yeah. But we'll talk about how we met and all that. But remember there's one time after work and then we said, we came together, we were just chatting, right? Having a beer and all that. And we said, hey, I think we're like... So I came out with it. I said like, hey, I think we're people with rainbow energy, right? That's why we click so well. So and to me, rainbow energy means people who enjoy talking about development, enjoy being creative, enjoy just, and exchanging ideas on topics like relationship, on health, and things that help you grow as a person and develop as a person. Correct? Yeah.
In fact, when you mentioned the term rainbow energy, I didn't really quite get it. Until you talk about it a few times, and I'm like, oh, rainbow energy 就是 a lot of vibing with each other, agreeing their chemistry, their energy, similar frequency. To me, this is what rainbow energy means lah.
Exactly. So we thought that it'd be ideal, right, for our podcast because we like the feeling, right, when we look at the rainbow. And the energy and the joy that it brings people. A rainbow after a rain is something that, there's a rainbow in the sky, everyone looks at it, and everyone feels happy and joyful when look at the rainbow.
And there's not a single day where the different rainbows look the same on different days.
True.
Some days the rainbow is full of colors.
Yes.
Some days a perfect semicircle.
Yep.
But there are days it's just like 一
看到一点点。
片模糊.
Yes, like a very faint rainbow sometimes. Yeah.
I came out with the word imperfect, right? Before our rainbow energy. It's because we are here to grow. We realize that we are imperfect, and this is kind of what makes us perfect.
Yes. And the fact that we are doing this for the first time,
as you can hear,
shows how imperfect this is, right? But I think that's the fun part.
Yeah.
Okay, so to me, in my mind, I think, personally, I feel that a lot of times when I listen to people's stories or people's testimonies or like their life, sometimes, right, I always think, wow, like these people got it all together, right? Like their life is so perfect, their job, their family, their career, their dreams. But then I always think like, hey, sometimes it's also just the way they present themselves, right? It's one side of the story that's being told.
And what is the other side?
But what is the other side? What's the other 90% that you don't see? It's the iceberg, isn't it? So to me, I think we both want to be very real.
Yep.
We want to be very authentic. And we said, let's do this even though we are not like the best at whatever we're doing, but we want to show that we have authenticity in our imperfections.
And I think we are also in a journey whereby we are cultivating honesty within ourselves.
Yes.
So on days that we feel like shit, we'll just honor it and know that our day is bad.
Yep.
On day that we are screwing it up, like the way we are starting this podcast, a bit kanchiong, a bit anyhow.
Yes.
And this is the truth, we're not hiding anything.
Yeah, this is the truth. Yeah. And as we learned before from who we'll talk about later, life is 50-50, right?
Yes.
Life is 50-50, so there are good days, there are bad days, but we are imperfect, but it's okay. I think what's important is we can try something new and we can grow together and we can learn together.
And so by being the imperfect rainbow, in any way that we show up, we are just hoping to bring some joy and some light and a smile to your faces, to whoever is listening out there.
Yes. I don't even know anyone will be listening, but
I don't know.
like what you said, 我们做给自己的不是咩?
So 如果你是那个一个人，或者是没有人，或者是可能我们60岁了自己听，
自己听自己爽。
Then we just feel that this rainbow energy, this sounds good. It brings me joy. I'm smiling. That's it. This is our,
I guess so.
Non-objective.
That's right. If we can make one person smile from listening to this podcast, then I think we
got it.
Okay, we got it. Fine. Okay, very good. So that's the very long-winded explanation
to why we are called the imperfect
the imperfect rainbow. Yes.
So, as Jeremy mentioned just now, we are colleagues, but that's a by the way thing. And then, what happened?
Okay.
了解。
我们来 talk a bit like go back in history. Okay, so we first met each other in
2019.
Okay, January to be specific. Okay, so we're both colleagues in the same company, and that was how we met. We were from the same batch. Okay, so we came in together. There was orientation and onboarding and all of that. And that's been 5 years, right, since we met.
Yes.
But I think our story obviously started from there. But I think the
Acceleration.
the acceleration, the connection really only happened quite recently, right?
The connection where being colleagues is no longer the point.
Or it's beyond that.
It's beyond that.
being colleagues.
It started around last year in May. So I should go there now, right?
You should go there
okay,
now.
So,
Cut notes.
so last year in May, I had the opportunity to do some lunchtime sharing with our colleagues.
Oh, yes. I thought, okay, so we're going to talk about this.
That one.
Fantastic. Very good.
That one.
Lie.
Yes. And then the topic that I am having to prepare the slides is on self-leadership. And I am so noob at sharing or speaking on anything that's outside of work. So then one fine day, I received a text from my friend here, Jeremy. What do you say to me?
I said, okay, and I remember I wanted to always encourage you to do this, right? Because I know you were already that time talking about, very invested in health and nutrition and all that.
Just a bit,
Maybe. Yeah. And then I think I sent you a few. I sent you the via WhatsApp.
Yes.
The Lito podcast.
Correct, the Lito podcast.
I can't remember which episode, but I forwarded
you.
you
Sent me a few episodes.
a few podcasts.
Series. Correct.
Because that was my season of listening to podcasts and learning from podcasts, and I think that was a habit that I really developed from COVID.
And before that, I've never listened to any podcasts.
No way, that was the first time.
That was my first time.
Oh shit, I didn't know that.
I don't listen to podcasts. I don't do shit.
No.
I'm just an autopilot person then.
That was seriously your first podcast.
I'm quite sure.
Oh my god.
Maybe not, but if there is any that happens before when you texted me,
right,
that's something that I do not have memory of.
Oh my goodness, that was your first podcast. Okay,
Yes.
okay. Yeah, so it was Lito podcast.
It's Lito. So it's basically Lito podcast that brought us together. And my life changed completely after that.
Oh yes.
So I follow Jeremy's advice. I tune in to Lito podcast. So in case you don't know who is Lito podcast, go and Google them. They're on Spotify. They are on IG.
Yeah. And we'll put the link somewhere.
Yeah.
We'll figure it out.
Yeah, we'll do it in the
link
show
somewhere.
notes. Okay, we'll do it in the...
Well, show notes sound very professional.
I copy Lito lah.
Oh, okay.
So Lito is just two amazing individuals, Daniel and Rebecca, that when I started to listen to the episodes, I started to see a lot of ugly side about myself. It is basically all the master classes that they're talking about, right? Like managing challenging relationships. That's one of my favorite episodes. And then a relationship with yourself, with your money and things like that. So that was for me the spiral up or down to self-development.
Yeah. And I really saw how you changed. I saw how you grew, right? During that period. And so that was really the first time that we kind of deeply connected, maybe, right?
Yes.
Perhaps. And I feel that you were really inspired.
I think that
by
was a first connection because before that we were really just working.
I mean, we were friends.
Yes.
We were friends, we were batchmates, we celebrate, we turn up for each other's birthdays,
Yeah.
we do all that, right?
Correct.
I mean, so we're good friends to begin with.
Yes, correct.
But I think that particular moment really sparked or ignited the opportunity for us to just deepen that relationship.
Correct.
Right? Then got another one. So this is the first one, right? The first moment. Then the other one was the Philippines trip.
Pardon 我怎么可以忘记这个 important
对
Philippines trip? So we are colleagues and we have to travel together to this trip
Yes.
and that happened in June 2023.
Last
June, right?
this year.
This year.
This year, yes, that's right.
So
That's right.
This year
yes.
in June, so this is fast forwarding our relationship 1 year later. We traveled to Philippines to meet our customer.
Yes.
And then what happened was that we just cannot stop talking to each other.
That sounds right.
We can talk to each other about everything, and then what we talk about is everything other than work.
I mean, it's work and more.
Yeah.
对不对? Like we were just talking about work, and then always somehow, right, our conversation will pivot to Rainbow topics law. This is why I say we
about
got rainbow
living
energy.
life,
Yes.
about how to be more purposeful, how to
Yes.
bring joy.
About relationship, how we overcome certain, challenges in our relationships, how we get more energy in our lives, how we help the friends around us.
And I think the beautiful thing about having this business trip in Philippines is that it is a country that is so unique on its own.
Yes.
There's a lot of waiting involved. There's a lot of queuing. Our first non-stop conversation started at the Philippines customs in the airport.
Yes,
We were
correct.
queuing. We were in a typical long queue.
Immigration queue.
Yes.
Immigration queue, correct.
And then 我们
Yes.
just 来了咯。
对
我们不可以
对
停。
Yes. Yeah, I think every opportunity, whether it's meal time or waiting at the airport seat, do you remember that? Immigration. So all these opportunities give us a lot of time to really talk, right? And then and we always feel that time will just fly by because all these topics were something that we were passionate about,
Yeah.
topics that we're interested in, right? And then
And then one fine day that is like I think at least a month after our Philippines trip.
yes,
This one morning I was driving and I was I was also coincidentally tuning into Lighter Podcast. And then I was waiting at the traffic light at Sengkang. So just suddenly that moment, it was like at 8 a.m. I had this message just literally dropped into my system. Something just clicked. And what came out of my clicking was, I cannot imagine doing a podcast with anyone other than Jeremy. It was I have to do this. And immediately, even before the traffic light turned green, right, I left you a voice message.
是
I can't even remember what I said. What did I say?
I think it's something around like, Jeremy, I'm at a traffic light right now, and this just came into my head, but I just want to let you know that we should do a podcast together, something like that. We need to re-listen to that video, but I mean that voice message. But it's your signature style lah. You like to leave voice messages, so now I know that's your pattern, right? You like to leave voice
Yeah, my new
messages
pattern.
when you drive. But yeah, I think that was the moment when I go like, okay. But to be honest, when I first received that, I was like,
Resistance.
I don't know if it's resistance or like
Discomfort.
maybe because
Okay, then let me ask you. So when you heard that voice message from me, what came up for you?
honestly, the first thought is like, 我很多东西做了。Like I've got, you know me, right? I've got a million things going on in my life, right? I got my cocktails, I got my job, I got my dog, I got my D&I stuff. I got a
You
million
got your
things,
work,
right?
you got your travels.
Yeah, I got my travels. So in my mind, the first thing is like, is this something that I really want to do? Is it something that that goes with the direction of where I'm heading to? Like, does it flow with my energy? Does it fit into
align?
does it align exactly? Does it align with what I really want to do in my life? Right? Because sometimes life is like this. It's like you keep adding things. You don't take anything away. So I'm very careful, right, about what I want to add. So I must be honest. At the moment, I'm like,
honest. This is about honesty.
先听先 right? Like, okay. And I thought, okay, I thought I would just kind of park that thought into a parking lot.
And we did. We parked it aside.
We did, right? And then you said something like, oh, let it ruminate, let it like,
I think I said that.
I think let marinate and all of that first. Like, let's sit with you for a
No,
weekend.
you were the one that said that you need to marinate with
I was
this.
the one who said it. Okay.
Then I'm like, okay, fine. Let's marinate, no rush, no expectations. But this is just what I feel that we should do.
Yes.
And then we let it be for maybe that week or two.
I think a week or two.
And then I started to book your time
Yes.
at work.
Yes. And we started to have our little moments. I think I started leaving some more voice messages, right? Because I think those moments come to me most when I'm either, I've got two very clear occasions. Either I'm showering in the morning when I wake up, because I feel like that's like the brain reboot, right? The brain is rebooting. It's like a laptop starting. Then the other occasion is when I'm walking Momo. My dog is called Momo, by the way. So when I walk my dog. So I think I started dropping you voice messages because I thought, hey, like this idea sitting with me is
After marinating,
after marinating, I put salt and pepper lah, honey lah, everything marinate liao. 就清, all that. And I feel that it started from your idea, it started to feel like I think I can also co-own the idea. Yeah.
you're a little bit more ready.
A bit more ready, a bit more receptive. And I think for me, that needs to happen, because if I really want to do something, I need to feel that I want to do it. Like I want to take ownership of it.
Correct.
Right? If not, like, what's the point, right? What's the point of doing something that somebody asks you to do? To me, this, and it's not even work.
I think this weekend sharing of your ideas came about after we spoke in the office, right? We had this 20-minute catch up for me to further sell you the idea that we have to do a podcast together. And I think I remember I was honest. I was like, I also worried that this is a 翻3分钟热度的东西. So I think I allowed myself to come to a place of neutrality. Like my emotions is this. I just want to make sure that it is not an impulsive thing. But after days of dropping that voice message that I've done at the traffic light, this whole doing podcast together with you thing still sits very strongly in my system. That's why we had that 20-minute connect. Then that weekend you started to drop me your inspiration ideas when you were walking Momo.
Oh, yes. You
sequenced the.
有 sequence 的 And for me, you know what I liken it to? 好像买衣服这样子. Sometimes I don't know if it happened to you, right? Sometimes when you go out and whatever, you do shopping, right? Let's say you see a shirt. Let's say I will see a shirt lah. Then I'm like, wow, shirt quite nice, huh? 有点贵. Then I'm like, should I? So it's not the price point, obviously 不是那个马上可以买的. Yeah, but I feel like very nice. But you think about it, maybe or maybe it's like a holiday, right? So maybe I'm like just visiting this shop for the first time. I said, okay, let me think about it. Then 你走一圈，再回来想一下, okay. And then the next day, if I don't, but the next day when I wake up, I'm still thinking about the shirt, right? That means must buy already. Yeah. So that's my thing.
You listen to yourself.
You listen to myself, and also see how it sits with me. After a while, then I go, okay, then I really want it. Okay, then I'll go and get it. So this idea of the podcast felt a bit like that. It was a bit expensive shirt that I first saw, very nice, but I don't know if I wanted at the beginning.
And the truth is, I think this is a law of attraction. Because once we both begin to recognize that, okay, we are now ready to do this podcast, then we start to attract what comes to on our way, lor. Like I started to ask around.
Yep.
I left some questions on a Facebook page where a community, a very special community of mine sits in. And suddenly we are here in this beautiful studio.
Oh yes, very nice.
Beautiful studio by, can say the owner name or not? Huh?
Can later we're also promoting for them, right? No? We are, right? Hey, we're first customer leh. Very exciting
so
leh.
we are not the only ones doing this for the first time. The people behind this studio and Paul, who is recording this, is also doing it for the first time. So we're all doing it for the first time. I think that's the title of our podcast, right? Our first episode. Trying new things.
Yes.
Isn't it?
对。
我们还没有讲到我们的 episode name 叫 Trying New Things.
对咯，你就刚刚哇，你的那个segue 很 smooth 嘞 ，not bad 啦 quite impressed. 没有 rehearse 的 quite smooth. You're right. So this is the name of
We
our
forgot
first.
to mention.
But it's okay because I think so we cover like talk about who we are, why the name of the podcast. And you're right. Now it's time to talk about our first podcast, which is trying new things.
Hi to you who is listening to our content. Thank you so much.
Hi, this is Jeremy.
And this is Maddy.
And we are the Imperfect Rainbow.
If you like listening to our podcast so far, please do the following.
Please follow and share our podcast.
That will do us a lot of good.
And we'll really appreciate that.
Yes.
So now, back to the show.
Why do you then agree to do this with me, Jeremy?
I think when we, so again, back to the idea of that thought taking root, right? Like it's a seed, it has grown and it's kind of slowly growing. I kind of feel that I really wanted that space. And this is very in alignment with myself. So, like what I said earlier, I'm doing quite a few things, right? Whether it's I picked up cocktails during COVID. I'm very involved in diversity and inclusion work in a company, as you know. And I feel this is very much in alignment because I always felt that, I've always wanted like a platform, right? And this even before the podcast today came about. I've always wanted like a platform to talk to people about art like us, right? People like us who are in the corporate world. You've got a day job, you have a family, you've got your kind of life settled. But sometimes you also wonder, like, is that it? The question is important, right? Like sometimes you'll be happily doing your thing and you go about your life. And then you go, is that it? Is this it, right? Is this all?
Is this all I am? Is this all I have to offer?
Exactly.
Is it?
Is it all to life? 就这样子吗? Is it? Because I can imagine if I just continue the momentum of whatever I'm doing now, I'll be fine, right? I'll be fine, I'll be okay. I would grow old, I would get sick, I will, whatever. And then one day I will die. So I think throughout my life, whatever I do, again, whether it's my hobby or my extracurricular activity at work, I always feel that I want to connect with people. I want to connect with people, and I want to give people a platform, inspire people to think that there's more to life than what you're going through right now. So, but then don't get me wrong. I think some people, for example, we know some people, right? Some of our friends who are very contented with their life, right? They've got a job and all that, and they're very contented with their job, very contented to feed their family and all that. Nothing wrong with it, right? And if you're happy with that, I think it's fine. I'm very happy for you. But I think I'm speaking to people like you and me, right? Who have got all this, and we feel that it can't be it. There must be something more. So I think this is where we want to put our creative energy. We want to, have a platform where people like us can connect and talk about our creative pursuits, talk about what we can do together or what we can, do on our own. And I really want to inspire people to do that, to find a life beyond work and, family.
And I think it's I feel very 感恩, when you're sharing this, because only, like you say, only when I started to realize that there is more to life than just doing your job, getting that money, being the mother that I am. But only when I started to really realizing that there's more to life, then we connected on the energy level.
Yeah.
Whoever is out there listening, we're going to have an exclusive episode to know more about Jeremy.
Yes.
Okay. If you're interested to know about the backstory, because Jeremy is like the pioneer of the place that we are working together to really show up as somebody that's more to just a function that he is doing, more than just a role that he is serving the company and getting paid, but it's so much more. And he has started this whole paving of the way sometime around COVID time.
Yeah.
And I think along the way, people who are aligned with that will get onto it. And then now I'm part of it too.
Yeah, very exciting. What about pioneer? 我很 serious.
Pioneer, 你是那个 pioneer, 对。
Pioneer, but 我不是 pioneer
You pave
generation.
the way to let people realize that there's more to life than whatever they are doing, lor.
Yeah. I really think so. I really, really believe so. And I think that's quite aligned with my, my life purpose statement, which we'll talk about another time, right? But yeah, so I really want to let people know that, if you're ever feeling a bit stuck, a bit like, is that it to life? I just hope that this, podcast will inspire you a little bit, right? Just like how you and me are sitting here in the room, trying something new. I think it's very exciting, right? I mean, honestly, the energy right now, that feeling.
It's super exciting. I woke up today so excited.
Yeah.
And I feel really good. I think I look very good now also.
很美. I like your haircut. I love the fresh haircut. Very nice.
I think I'm just I'm ready, but I'm also not ready to offer a piece of myself out to the world.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
This is my why.
Ready but not ready. I love it.
Yeah.
Hey, that sounds like imperfection, 不是咩？
对啊，
你 ready 又不 ready. Yeah,
我们就是那个 Imperfect Rainbow.
是 exactly. Yeah, exactly. I like that. You're ready, but you're not ready. You're ready to do something, but you also know you're not ready because you're not perfect. But then that's how it is. That's how we start.
So my why? So 我自己问自己了。你问我嘞，你问我。
来 So what's your why? Apart from the fact that you drop in the middle of the traffic light.
At Sengkang.
Yeah, at Sengkang for you. But yeah, what's your why behind this?
It's really more of a why not. The first thing that came to my mind was, why not? What's stopping me? What's stopping us from doing a podcast? I literally cannot think of a single valid reason to not do this.
Wow. Why not?
其实就是这样. I mean, of course, it maybe helped that I received that message from the universe to send that message to you. But as I sat with that idea for the next few days, it is really more of like, 我真的想不到 why we shouldn't do it. And what better than to really just put my voice out there to do it, lor. And of course, one of the things that I want to improve among the so many other things is I want to be a better speaker. I want to be able to communicate better.
Yeah.
And we all know that practice makes perfect. And then I just have to put myself out there, lor. I just have to keep talking, speaking, be comfortable with pauses, which I'm not comfortable. And then, 就是这样咯.
Yeah.
And you are a professional speaker.
Okay, we'll talk about that. Yeah.
So, of course, I have to learn from a 师傅, a mentor.
Oh, I'm giving you hearts here.
And you know even when we have our practice session, I was so uncomfortable with having this mic in front of me, this big earphones around my ears. I was it was a completely imposter syndrome going on that few weeks ago.
Okay, but can I say something?
Yes.
今天好很多了，好很多了，这个是真心话，好很多了，好是不是？他真的 even Paul is nodding, okay, 好很多了。I can already tell that you are, kind of working through your. I mean, I think in your eyes, I can still see a little bit of that fear, and let's be honest, that's fine, right? But I can see you working through your fear and saying, putting your foot down and going, okay, I think I can do this, and I think that's fine, right? I think that's fine, because remember I told you at the beginning, it's all about practice, yeah. Because I've done MC work before, so I've been on stage countless of times, right? Weddings, conferences, conventions, company event, Lunar
Paid
New
or
Year,
unpaid.
Christmas, paid or unpaid. It's all about practice. Yeah, it's all about having that practice, that air time to hold the mic, to speak in front of the mic, and after a while, you'll become second nature. It's all about practice.
And I think it is moments like this where we realize that when there are people, when we voice our fears to somebody, and for me that day I voiced my fears out to you transparently, your response back to me meant so much. It was really deep. And I think we just also want to share with whoever is listening out there that if you have any fear of trying new things, don't keep the fear inside you lah.
Yeah.
Just voice out, because you'll never know what will come back to you.
Exactly. Just declare to whoever, the universe, people around you that you want to do something. You'll be surprised, right? How much resource, how much help comes along the way, how much encouragement comes along the way. But if you don't say, you never know.
Yeah.
If you don't say, people will never know. So I think our point is declare it. Like you want to try something.
Open.
Be open about it. Exactly. Just declare that you want to try something new. And just work on it.
So now we have to, given that our episode name is Trying New Things, right? We want to talk through a little bit about our own experience
Our
with trying new
process.
things,
Yes.
our own process.
Our own thought process. Correct.
Where shall we start?
Okay, like so I think this whole thing about the
and we already talked about it actually this whole podcast.
Yeah, we did.
We already talked about our process, our fears, the imposter syndrome that I face. This is really the experience for us, at least for this podcast, Trying New Things.
Yes.
I think I have a sudden inspiration. Next time we need to bring Kat and Paul in our episode.
Yeah.
Because this is their trying new things. I'm sure they have their own fear, discomfort, resistance. They have their own T lines. T lines means thoughts.
Okay.
Behind this
That's
hosting.
your coaching coming. That's your coaching coming.
Maybe they're like, I would have charged more expensive. But okay, let's do this for the first time. Maybe I'm sure there's a lot of fears that's going on and questions that they have in their mind.
Yep. And that's a really good point, because remember I was talking about having I want this to be a platform for us to talk about, people who want a bit more out of life, etc. I think this is it, right? Because I think there's something very beautiful about stories. So I want to share this with trying new things. I think whenever we hear stories, I feel that a lot of times you think about it, a lot of stories we hear are like, oh, Steve Jobs stories you hear like Lee Kuan Yew and all that, which is nothing wrong. All these are great people who have done really, really well, super successful, super impactful. But sometimes that's all the storylines and all the narratives we hear. People who have done exceedingly well. But I also feel that there's a space for us to talk about people who are like us, kind of ordinary people, but who do things that are out of the ordinary. And we're pushing our own boundaries, our own limits in our own little ways. And I think there's a space for such stories, because then it empowers people like us to do something more. Because you don't feel like, wow, I need to be at that level to do this kind of thing. No. You can be where you are, sitting where you are, living your very ordinary lives like you and me, and trying new things and just trying things that, who you never know, one day could become big. But if you don't take that step of just trying something new, it will never happen.
It's just taking action, right?
It's just taking that one step. But sometimes taking that one step is very hard.
Super hard.
Right?
Super hard.
Sometimes taking that one step of just being brave and wanting to try. 你想 right? 你可以 plan, commit on plan, but 你没有 commit and do it, it remains on plan 嘛.
So what took us from being scared to taking this action and having ourselves being in this podcast studio today?
I think one thing that really worked for us was the accountability. Remember just now we talked about how sometimes it just remains in your head, right? But if you don't talk to one person about it, it remains in your head. So I think the fact that you reached out to me and you talked about it, it means that you wanted to be held accountable for your thoughts
Yes.
and for the idea with me already.
Yeah.
And then you're asking me to join a journey. And I'm thinking, okay, let's do this.
And
Let's
it's
try.
non-negotiable because in that picture, in the message, it's me and you only.
Yeah.
It's not just, I couldn't have done it alone. There's no way that if you have disagreed that I would do this by myself.
Right.
It would be a no-go 拉倒了.
Right. Because in your mind, in your vision of this,
Yes.
就是我们两个在
就是我们两个而已。
在讲话。
对 because that moments of speaking in the Philippines trip is just so special that I kind of feel that we have a lot more value to recreate this and let more people listen.
We're vibing. We're passing the vibe check.
But there's a lot of fears that there are a lot
Of course.
consideration that we're talking about, like 我们要录要像来多这样录100集啊。
是咯，那我 for me 是我可以再 commit 多一个东西嘛？我有时间嘛 ？Do I have this? I mean I got like a lot of things going on. 我要 commit 来不2个礼拜一次，还是1个礼拜一次？要 commit 多少时间？ So to me, it's all about the time consideration. Am I able to commit? Because the last thing I want to do is commit to it. Then I cannot live up to the commitment.
I think what helped in my thought process was also tuning into the episode on 101 about podcasting. This is one of Laito's episode.
Yeah,
And
you did share that with me as well.
I've listened to many of the episodes, but that particular one, I have not listened to it before.
Yeah.
But listening to it, that first fear that came into my mind was, because Rebecca talked about commitment. So my immediate first thought was, wow, I think maybe 算了啦. really that was the initial first thought when I first when they talked about commitment and discipline, putting the hours. But as I listened on further into the episode,
Right.
and then I also shared my thoughts with you, then it got a little bit better because we can do it messily.
That's right.
我们是做给我们自己听的。
Just try 啦 just try. But the first step, just try 是很重要的，好不好？
对
Just try. Yeah. So today we are here. Just try. Okay. Yeah. So I think 就这样子咯。
就这样子。
That's our thing about. That's our whole process.
Yes.
Our journey of trying something new. Then 我们就今天走到这一步。这个点。
Okay, so 我们走到这一点了。
对
We want to have also a nice ending to our podcast episodes.
Yes, we do.
Right?
And we talked about this.
Yes.
We did,
And then we're thinking to share our favorite quotes or passages just to end our first inaugural episode.
That's right. Yeah. I'll share first.
Yes,
you know,
yes.
and I like quotes. I like quotes because I feel that they're like small nuggets of wisdom, but yet they're very, very impactful. And sometimes when you come across these quotes, they have very, very deep meaning in your lives, right? So this is one of the quotes that I have. One of the first few quotes that I actually encountered in my life, and this is the same quote that I wrote in my thesis. Remember I was telling you, right? So I was in NUS and I did my honors here. So this is the quote that I wrote on my thesis. So this quote is by this American poet and philosopher called Henry David Thoreau. And he's like a bit of an environmentalist. He wants to live life very simply. He believes in, kind of like being in one with the environment, right? Somebody who's very, very concerned about it. But he's also somebody who believes in passionately about living life. So this is his quote, and I think it has impacted me, for life. So he says, I went to the woods because I wished to live deliberately, to front only the essential facts of life and see if I could not learn what he had to teach, and not, when I came to die, discover that I had not lived. I mean, even I'm speaking right now, I'm having goosebumps.
有一点，对。
有一点 goosebumps 没有? But I think because that was really what he was trying to capture. That was the essence of what he was trying to capture in his life. Like he didn't want to live life unintentionally. He wanted to live life deliberately. Or he wanted to front only the essential facts of life. He wanted to make sure that when he lived his life and he breathed his very last breath, he know that I've lived my life to the fullest that I know. Yeah, and I have no regrets.
So how has this quote changed the way you live your life now?
Everything. I think everything. I think it's helped me to be braver, to try new things. It helped me to kind of like try to say yes to things, knowing that I have like one life to live. And I think, the thing about people saying that, how you want to live every day as if it's the last day of your life. I think it's a little bit like that. Yeah. And I do try to, as much as I can, live a life that's like that. And it's being true to myself.
I think you should just put this quote in your email signature,
Oh my God, that's such a good
You
idea.
have all these beautiful quotes. Because, when you were kind of explaining how this quote has worked for you, in my mind I'm like, hey, I wish somebody had said this to me earlier. And I'm like, okay, immediately I think about, okay, your email signature, best regards, Jeremy. Just put this in your email signature. I'm waiting for it.
I love it. 好 OK 明天
Trying new things.
明天
Trying new things.
好 OK then now your turn. So what is your what's your quote or your little passage on today?
Okay, so
to end the podcast.
when we were discussing and brainstorming about the podcast, we were saying that, okay, we're going to end with quotations. And quotes is a thing for Jeremy, but it's not so much a thing for me. So I was having a think about it. And one of the new things that I've tried in the last year is reading. And this is maybe another time for another episode.
Yes.
But so there's this one passage that I really like. And when I see things that I like when I read, I will jot it down on my OneNote.
Right.
So this is a passage from the author Pema Chödrön. And I think she has written quite a number of books. So the title of this book is When Things Fall Apart. And this passage is about resistance. So I'm just going to say it. The way to dissolve resistance in life is to meet it face to face. Face heat and feel it. Face cold and feel its bite. That's it. And this is also something that I am personally trying to remind myself to practice. If I feel fear, know that it is fear that I'm feeling. If I feel discomfort, then how does the discomfort sit in me?
Wow.
If I'm judging somebody,
Wow.
what is the judgment that comes out in my mind? It's like be completely factual and honest with these things that comes out for me.
Oh, there's so much mindfulness right there, isn't it?
So much and so hard leh.
It's hard. Mindfulness is one of the hardest things you can do in your life. Sitting with your own emotions, thinking about what you're really going through, it's hard. It's hard, deep personal work.
So if you are out there wanting to try something new and you're afraid, just say that it's okay to feel worried. It's okay to be excited. It's okay to be scared.
Yes.
And then let it sit for a while.
That's right. It's all totally fine to acknowledge whatever you're feeling. Yeah, let it sit for a while. And then take the first step.
Take the first step. Maybe just message your friend.
Yeah.
Talk to your friend about your fear or whatever that you're feeling, and then let things happen. No?
Let things happen, no? Yeah. And like today, let things happen.
就是这样了。
就是这样子了啦。Okay.
几分钟了。
是。Okay, so that's it. That's the end of our first podcast.
Yes, first episode.
Our first episode.
We don't know how often we are going to do this.
I think we said we'll try to do. Okay, let's try to do a limited series, right?
Yes.
Let's say we'll do like 5 or 6 episodes, and let's see where it goes.
Let's see how it goes.
Yeah, but at least today we took the first step.
We took the first step.
重点, we took the first step. Okay. High five!
Yay!
High five! Okay, so whoever listening, we will see you, I guess, in the next episode, right?
Yes.
Okay, take care.
See you.
Bye.
Bye.
Oh, the chipmunk voice! Oh my god!